top Accolade Global News update. I am Soivifa Jackridge. Israel said on Tuesday it had re-established control over the Gaza border and was planting mines where Hamas militants had toppled the barrier during their bloody weekend assault. After another night of relentless Israeli air raid on the enclave. Israel's latest round of airstrike came after Hamas threatened to execute an Israeli captive every time Israel bombed a Palestinian home without warning. The Israeli military also called up on unprecedented 300,000 visits and imposed a blockade on the Gaza Strip, raising fear it planned a ground assault in response to the most audacious and deadly Hamas attack in decades. The violence, which has claimed more than 1,500 lives, prompted international declarations of support for Israel, street protests in support of Palestinians, and appeal for an end to the fighting and protection of civilians. Israeli TV channel said the death toll from the Hamas attack had climbed to 900 Israelis, with at least 2,600 injured and dozens taken captive. Among the Israeli dead were 260 mostly young people gunned down at a desert music festival, where some of the hostages were abducted. A remark aired by Israel's Army Radio, Chief Military Spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Agari said there had been no new infiltrations from Gaza since Monday. In an apparent response to rumors that gunmen used cross-border tunnels, he said the military had no such findings. Police officer fatally shot the driver of a vehicle that plowed through the Chinese consulate in San Francisco and into the lobby of the building's visa office on Monday, city police said. Officials' detail on the incident were sketchy, and police said the identity of the motorist and what precipitated the crash were not yet known. There was no mention of anyone else being injured in the incident. The Chinese diplomatic post in San Francisco issued a statement saying an unidentified person drove violently into the document hall to consulate, causing a serious threat to the safety of the staff and people at the scene and causing serious damage to the facilities and properties of the consulate. The consulate went on to say that it strongly condemns this violent attack and reserves the right to pursue responsibility for the incident. A spokesperson for China's foreign ministry said the individual drove violently into the lobby of the Chinese consulate general in an attempt to kill people at the scene and the staff. The consulate said it will temporarily close its consular certificate hall October 10 in a statement released on its WeChat account. The consulate said it will inform the public when services will resume. The State Department did not immediately respond to a Reuters's request for comment on the incident. An artillery strike that hit a refugee camp near Myanmar's border with China has killed at least 29 people, including women and children, media sources said on Tuesday. In one of the deadliest attacks on civilians since the return of military rule, Myanmar has been embroiled in a brutal conflict in multiple regions in the wake of 2021 coup, with ethnic minorities, armies, and a resident movement battling to undermine military rule after a fierce crackdown by security forces. Sources including the Chado National Unity Government (NUG) blamed the military for the shelling, which took place close to midnight on Monday in Kachin State. A spokesperson for the junta said the military was not responsible. Sources said artillery hit a camp for internally displaced people about 5 kilometers, that is, 3 miles, from a base in the border down of Laza run by the Kachin Independence Army (KIA), which has been in conflict for years with Myanmar's military. Kachin media outlets said 30 people were killed. Reuters could not independently verify the death toll, and spokesperson for the KIA could not immediately be reached for comments. Australian police said on Tuesday they were investigating a pro-Palestinian protest outside Sydney Opera House after footage emerged of a small group appearing to chant anti-Semitic slogans at the demonstration. Around 1,000 pro-Palestinian supporters marched through downtown Sydney on Monday evening to the city's iconic Opera House, which the government had illuminated in the colors of the Israeli flag following Saturday's attack by Hamas, which Israel says killed over 900. Gaza's health ministry said at least 687 Palestinians had been killed in the Israeli retaliation airstrike on the blockaded enclave since then. The unverified footage shared by the Australian Jewish Association and featured on Sky News appeared to show a small group outside the Opera House lighting flares and chanting "Gas the Jews." Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Tuesday called the report of anti-Semitic slogan horrific. New South Wales State Police told a new conference on Tuesday it was reviewing footage from the protest to determine its offences were committed. Protest organizers Palestine Action Group Sydney defended its right to protest apartheid in Israel, but said a small number of vile anti-Semitic attendees had no place in their movement. Leading international airlines have suspended or reduced flights to Israel's capital Tel Aviv amid the conflict with Hamas and escalating attack on Gaza. About half of all scheduled flights at the airport did not operate on Sunday, and a third were cancelled as of Monday evening. American Airlines, Air Canada, Air France, Delta Airlines, Egypt Air, Emirates, Finland Finnair, Dutch carrier KLM, Germany's Lufthansa, Norwegian Air, Portugal's TAP, Polish carrier LOT, Ryanair and United Airlines were among those suspending or reducing flights to Tel Aviv Ben Gurion airports. Russian banned 9 flights to Israel, and regulators including the US Federal Aviation Authorities, European Union Aviation Safety Agency and Israel's Aviation Authority urged airlines to use caution in Israeli airspace but stopped short of suspending flights. Russia said that it had restricted flights from going to Israel before 9:00 GMT due to what it called an unstable political and military situation, and advised airlines to continue to monitor risk during daylight hour. Israel Civil Aviation Authority said airlines should review current security and threat information and had changed some air traffic routes. The authority noted that delays should be expected and advised airlines flying to Israel to carry extra fuel as precaution. That is the size of top accolade global news updates. You can follow us on social media platforms as displayed on the screen. Happy Tuesday.